We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. Today, we've got Will with us, and Will joined us on the live that you heard yesterday. And we always have plenty to talk about because there's always plenty of crazy, goofy, fucking shit going on. I was just talking to Will about some of the storms that went through. Sounds like he got pounded with some rain and some colder weather. But that isn't the worst problem that Georgia has at this point. I think the way you put it was that Donald Trump told Georgia to go fuck themselves.
Pretty much. If you haven't heard, remember Brian Kemp certified the 2016 election. You know, the whole find me 11,000 votes. They're
Right.
the ones that recorded it. That's why he got prosecuted in Fulton County. Well, after Hurricane Helene came through Georgia and then through the Carolinas, it was the same thing that the Biden administration promised, the full debris removal at the expense of the federal government.
Right.
Now, remember, during that happened during the election, and remember, Trump was going out of his way to say they're not sending money to North Carolina or Georgia. They're not sending money. They're not sending money. You're not. And I mean, people were refusing FEMA money because they said Trump and their Trump people said, "Hey, they're going to take your houses. You know, I'm going to take care of you. Look, I brought paper towels and groceries or
Yeah.
whatever he did in that
Yeah.
fucked up um, press conference." Well, today the state of Georgia asked for an extension, which is normal, of 180 days to move some more debris because it was, I mean, on that northern part of Georgia really got hammered, promised by the Biden administration. They requested that from FEMA, and FEMA came back and basically said, hey, we took a look at what you want. Nah, now you're on your own, bitches. Good luck. Have fun. And red states get fucked. Because
Well,
Brian
here's
Kemp
the
went on his
thing.
way to support Trump in the last
Well,
election.
that's the thing that troubles me about Brian Kemp. Brian Kemp did certify the election in 2020, I believe, in spite
16,
of what Donald Trump
2020, you're right. I keep forgetting. Go
2020.
ahead.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
and and in spite of Donald Trump not wanting him to do that, he talked shit about Brian Kemp. Brian Kemp always seemed like Republican, but more reasonably minded. But then come 2024, he says he's going to support him. He does exactly what all the Republicans do. Donald Trump can do anything he wants to them, and they'll still support him because they're fearful or whatever the fuck, or they think it's going to get them elected. So now Donald Trump comes back and says, fuck yourself with regards to FEMA. I mean, he's even talked about getting rid of FEMA. So this is
So there were
this has got
the people's
now,
gone.
is Brian Kemp ever going to support this fucker again? I mean, Jesus Christ, what's it take?
I mean, he's on the second term as governor of Georgia, so he's done.
Okay.
Maybe he's looking to step into the Republican Party. There was talk about that originally. I don't know. The difference between Georgia and Alabama is that Georgia's always had industry around Atlanta. Atlanta's not a brain drain. They have a lot of good, smart people here.
Yeah.
But so they're not, there's industry and built in Georgia. But one thing that disturbs me today, they fired 300 CDC, um, um, they call them investigators. What their job is, if there's an outbreak, they're sent to local health departments to help them out.
Right.
The Musk administration called them disease detectives as an insult to these intelligent medical people and fired them. And people are freaking out around in health departments around the country because they need help. By the way, there's a huge outbreak because no one, some people brought this up in the comments when we did the live. We didn't touch on it. There's a huge outbreak of measles in West Texas.
Right.
Huge. It is spreading. And the thing about it, you dumb idiots, because I know you guys watch. We know you watch, you dumb
They do.
idiots. Measles is not a childhood disease. It's a painful disease with complications that can kill you. From personal experience as a kid, I never forgot getting measles. You know why? Because every part of me swelled up, including my fucking knees. It was
Yeah.
horrendous, and I got over it. But see, that's the mentality that we're getting right now is that they don't know what's going on, what they're firing. let's talk about the nuclear thing. As we talked about last night, the
Well, I
United
just want to
States.
mention. I just want to mention
That
one other epidemic that seems to be going around the country. A very viral epidemic, and that is that Elon Musk had his 13th child with some influencer on fucking Instagram, and apparently he didn't know. This guy. Here's what I don't understand about Elon Musk.
Mhm.
Elon Musk is the epitome of what Republicans and Trump-fucks and racists don't like. He's an immigrant, probably an illegal immigrant. He makes all his money off the government. It's his form of welfare to the tune of billions and billions of dollars.
Oh
And then he
God,
wants
yeah.
to tell these fuckers what to do. How is it that the Republican, is it just because Donald Trump says he's a good guy? Like Donald Trump knows anything at all? But this guy is a scourge of this country, and he needs to be done away with one way or another.
I mean, he has more hidden childs than Drake.
Yeah.
And you got to know, if you know the story, you know what I'm talking about. But the point is, like, I just saw a video before we came on with a hearing talking about all the inspector generals that and I love what the congressman did. He kept saying the Trump Musk administration, never
Right.
Vance mentioned.
Right.
They fired, and each inspector general that he said they fired in these departments, from USDA, EPA, Labor Department, were investigating Musk or Tesla, and they're fired.
Yeah. Isn't that
So,
amazing?
and yeah, what a coinkydink. And also, he gets $400 million to build armored Teslas. What the
Well,
fuck is an armored Tesla?
you
I've
can't,
never. I mean, what?
last time I
Um,
heard was he had a bulletproof cyber truck, and somebody threw a baseball at the window and it fucking shattered. So he was a little embarrassed by that. Well, here's what happened. That came out. A document came out that they were spending $400 million on um, Tesla armored trucks, and there was all kinds of backlash. So they pulled that document back and they pulled the name Tesla out. Now a lot of people think that means okay, they're not buying Tesla now.
oh no.
That means they'll just wait till you forgot about it, and then they'll fucking buy Teslas. That's what's going to
The
happen.
check. I mean, he wrote his own self. He wrote himself the check. See,
Yeah.
that's the thing we're at right now. Is this man is in charge of the money? Trump put him in charge of the money, and no one's stopping him because, as you said in your last video, is that I'm going to back up a second, Matt. Michael Steele. Now, during the election, Michael Steele kind of aggravated me because he did kind of both sides things, but he was political to an extent.
Yeah.
But he hated Trump and he knew what was coming. Michael Steele now is like the only voice on mass media that's saying, "You guys are just too calm. You need to be pissed off."
Right.
Because he was at one of the MSNBC show he does,
Right.
and he literally was just not even sitting up. He was leaning on the side of his chair, and someone asked him, "What do we do about it? What are we going to do?" And he goes, "Get mad. You people aren't getting mad. You're not screaming." He goes, "Congress people are just going, no, you guys should be pissed off because that's where
Making
it
noise.
starts. Make noise." He says, "Because what is wrong with you? You guys just act like it's the business as usual. You should be mad and pissed off and angry, and they're not."
Well,
And
that's
that's
the,
when the
that's the
difference.
fun.
Go ahead.
Well,
I'm sorry.
that's the funny thing about this is we keep people hearing people say, "Well, if we're not careful, this could be a constitutional crisis." I got news for you, motherfuckers. It's already a constitutional crisis. In the Constitution, we have laws. We have a president of the United States usurping those laws. That is a constitutional crisis.
Mhm.
And the way you've got to look at this is not so much as political misbehavior or that sort of thing. This is
That
literally attack on our country, on democracy, and each one of us. And if we're being attacked, what does that mean we need to do? We need to fucking fight back.
right.
There's no two ways about it.
And that there was one, and I wish I had kept the video. There was a woman who got a hold of her Democratic congressperson. Literally was able to get him on the phone. Actually, they called him back, and she was asking her, what were you going to do? And the woman, the congresswoman, just said, "I don't know." He goes, "Are you going to speak out?" Huh? Just sat there like she was the person, the constituent was upset because you just said it is what it is type of thing. It's
Yeah.
not, it is what it is. That's the hardest thing everyone does not fucking get. As you said in your video, there is a constitutional crisis because you have a man in power who's decided everything I say goes. Every time I write something, it's an edict. It doesn't go through Congress. You have a Congress who doesn't want to do anything and literally have said he's doing our work for us. You have a judicial you don't know might stop him, but since they don't have an arm enforcement because he controls the DOJ, which should be independent from the presidency, we're kind of fucked. And that's a crisis. And the mass media keeps just fucking playing us. And today was another example. Millions of dollars. They keep saying Musk is saving us billions of dollars, millions saving us from corruption, which he's not. Okay, all the corruption things he's saying are not true. And as one person said, you could have looked it up. Just do Google, and they have to put out how money is spent. That's the law. Trump, kind of tea bath because I just saw this and it pissed me off. Trump went to the Daytona 500 today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not only did he go to the fucking Daytona 500, he used the Air Force One to fly over the Daytona 500. Not the military, him. And then he rode in the fucking presidential limousine around the track. And everyone's going, it's fucking insane. Are you the president of the United States or is this a fucking, it's insane. This is what he's doing. This is what he's spending my fucking money on.
Donald
And
Trump
I
is
have
a
a right to
rube.
be
He's
pissed off.
unsophisticated. He's unsophisticated. He's a rube, and he's an embarrassment to everything that this country once stood for. Let's be honest, though. In terms of what needs to be done with Donald Trump, the only expeditious thing they could do is impeach him. Uh, Yelling at him and doing all this sort of stuff isn't going to do anything. The DOJ should do something about it, but he controls it. So it's a bad situation. And the reason this situation got this way is because of Republicans. If we want Congress to do something, it has to be initiated by Republicans because they have the majority in the House and the Senate. They can do something. I'm afraid they're going to wait until the world is about to end, and then they might say, well, this is too far. And that'll
Yeah,
probably be too late. The Democrats should be pushing these motherfuckers on TV every day, shaming them, making them look foolish. They should have no problems getting on TV or on the internet and doing whatever they have to do. But the Democrats are saying, well, it's up to the Republicans. We'll just stand and watch them fail. That's fine. I understand that strategy, but while they're doing it, all of us are failing. And that's the problem. These fucking people are here to represent and protect us and protect the
right.
Constitution. And Democrats and Republicans alike just aren't fucking doing it.
And they should stand up every day because Lincoln Project had an email and it says time for the blame game. Whose fault are prices going up? Trump. Whose fault that our allies hate us? Trump. Whose fault is that you have a madman taking your money and may cut your Social Security without any kind of congressional approval? Trump. The point being is they're not saying that enough. The
Yeah.
fear of Donald Trump still runs through these fucking people in Washington, D.C. And as the lady said in the video I was telling you about a moment ago, she said the problem is that her congressman has not been in her district for the last 6 months. She
Yeah.
doesn't come home. They stay in D.C. Why? Because they get schmoozed by lobbyists. It's a power thing. It makes them feel good. They only hear that certain things in D.C. If they come home, they get shit. They don't want to come home unless it's ready for re-election, and that's not right. Are you
We're gonna
serving us? Who are you fucking serving?
we're gonna see something interesting here shortly. There's this head of a whistleblower organization within the government that Donald Trump wanted to fire. They took it to court. They said, no, you can't fire him. Took it to an appellate court, said, no, you can't fire them. And now it's going to the Supreme Court. Now, a lot of people out there will say, well, the Supreme Court will just sign off on anything Donald Trump does. And I'm not so sure about that. I mean, that's possible. But here's the deal. This will be an interesting flag for us to look for. We heard that John Robert, the Supreme Court justice, has been a little nervous as of late because of the comments Donald Trump and his people have said about ignoring court cases or court decisions. And why this is a problem is because it takes away all power from the courts and the Supreme Court. He could ignore the Supreme Court for that matter. And now John Robert finally is figuring out, oh, if we let this guy go crazy, it could cost us some power. We can't have that. So it's conceivable that henceforth, because of Donald Trump's behavior, the Supreme Court could shut him down as many times as they possibly can just in order to maintain a certain amount of power. But, logic has slipped from us before, so who the fuck knows?
I mean, it should be that way because they're an equal branch of the government. That's the problem. Everyone has got. We don't have a king. We were designed not to have a king or a supreme leader. I mean, that was the idea with our forefathers, who were rich white guys, but still set up a government that didn't put power in one person because they came from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And it's like it amazes me to listen to people um, spin the Constitution to fit their way. There is no unitary executive power. There is none. Find it in the Constitution and show it to me. It's not there. It's written. They're equal branches of power. We know this, but you keep trying to sell that to us. And I know you're the uneducated and the indoctrinated. We're going to stay with that, but it's just you cannot give. You've seen right now what happens when one man has that much power. When you let him have that much power, and he lets people run amok, because we're seeing the slow deterioration of how our government functions, and only a few people in power think this is a good thing because they're going to raid the
Yeah.
treasury. I think that lady 75 Corvette last night made the right point. You guys don't understand it. When you pay taxes, it's not going into a politician's pocket. It's going to support all of us. That's
Yeah.
your fucking money that comes back to you in certain ways. And that's the thing. People get twisted on what taxes are. You pay a tax or you pay towards something so you get something back or a service. I mean, that's something that got lost in the whole Reaganism and Reaganomics that made government a bad thing. Government is not a bad thing. It needs to be regulated, it needs to be watched, but that's why you elect and select different people if they don't do what you do. But that got lost in some whacked out translation about taxes. Okay? Taxes are not a burden if you don't get anything back for it. And right now, y'all, we're still going to pay our fucking taxes. We're going to get nothing for it. And the only people who get it are the 1%. You fucking don't do that math. Do the
Yeah.
fucking math.
Well,
I
the thing
mean,
about it is we've got farmers that aren't getting subsidies right now, and I'd like to feel sorry for them, but a large percentage of the farmers voted for Donald Trump, so you got what you asked for. But if we're going to do that, take it away from farmers, let's take away all subsidies from all big business. Let's take the subsidies away from fucking big oil. Why do they need
yeah,
fucking subsidies? That sounds like
yeah.
a waste of money for this country. Take those motherfuckers away. I
Don't hear
fucking
that,
dare
Jay.
you.
You
What's
don't hear
that?
that. You hear about Medicaid and Medicare. We
Not
have to
oil.
sacrifice. We have to have pain. I mean, this is the rich convincing the poor that they have their best interest at heart while they're freaking sticking their finger up their ass. To
Right.
be blunt, I'm sorry, I'm crude, but it's the same thing. It is insane, and you listen to these people, and you get the comments, and I get the comments, and I'm going, do you really understand this? This whole defense of Elon Musk by all these poor people is insane. I mean, we're getting rid of corruption. So where's the money going? It's
Yeah.
not
Where
coming
is the
back to
money?
you. That tax money's not coming back to you, and our taxes are going to go up if they get their new budget. So what do we get out of it? Nothing. The rich get richer. We get poor. We have to pay more tax to the government to support $4.3 trillion in tax cuts for the rich to sit there like fat fucking dragons in a cave with a bunch of gold. And if you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, if you guys ever seen the movie, and a lot of you have out there because they're nerds like me, Dungeons and Dragons, the movie, that fat dragon sitting on that gold, and he can't walk, but he can slide around and eat more. That's the rich right now. That's what they're fucking doing to us. They are going to suck everything dry because they can't get fucking enough. It's not enough. It's never enough for them. And to see us get anything makes them disturbs them. And I
What's
don't know
what's
why.
what I talked about on one of the TikToks was that we're in a bad situation in that we have a president that's working against and attacking this country. His partner in crime, Elon Musk, is doing the same thing. Since our president oversees the DOJ, we have no uh, real law. They're
Mhm.
completely lawless in this situation. And if they did try to do something, Donald Trump would just shut it down, of course. We've got a Congress, Republicans and Democrats, just unwilling to do anything to stop this, stop the pain on this country. Um, I've said before, and I heard somebody else talking about this, maybe it was Michael Steele, who said the last line of defense here is us. And
Yep,
you've talked about it, the torches and the
the
pitchforks,
pitchforks.
and hopefully we're getting to that point. We do need, like I said, we're being attacked. And if the people
Mhm.
who are supposed to protect us don't, then we have to protect ourselves. And if it's an attack, then that means we have to go to war in whatever form that takes. We have to fucking do it because we cannot count on those people that are supposed to be doing it for us. Now, what I will say to this is we will go to war with them. We will beat them. There's no question in my mind about that. But once that's done, I think we need to purge and flush the entire political system. There's a handful of Democrats that sound like they want to fight, but they're still not doing anything. If these
Right.
people aren't working for us and we turn things around here and we win this war against Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and the rest, we need to get rid ourselves of a lot of motherfuckers, not just Democrats, not just Republicans, but Democrats too.
Yeah, it's going to have to be. That's basically a second American Revolution. What we're talking about. A
That's basically
revamping
where
of the
we are.
yeah, a revamping of the Constitution, maybe giving the Electoral College. But those are things that are in the future. I mean, we can debate that all the time. The one thing I don't want to hear about is impeaching Trump because I think that's insane. If your goal is to impeach Trump, stop it. Your goal should be put up roadblocks for Trump to stop him, to use what you have power to stop him because you're not going to remove him from office unless you're going to go 7 days in May. Okay, that's the only thing that's going to happen because I keep hearing like when Eric gets with us, he keeps talking about he's hearing about impeachment. Look, they say a lot of things about Trump behind his back. They really do. They do not like the man. He's hated, but they fear him. And he has enough syncopaths to keep him going and enough little rats to run to him with so and so did this and so did that. So they will not do anything in the open for him. They won't.
Well,
Even that
no,
one
well,
congressman in Pennsylvania who says that he'll not vote, I'll see it when I believe it.
yeah, no, I get that, but here's the thing. What Eric is referring to is, and this is, I don't think impeaching him is the best way out of it either because it takes too long. It's a fucking process, and we've got to count on Republicans, and nobody should count on Republicans. But what Eric is saying is, when Donald Trump gets to the point where he's harming the party more by harming this country more, and they're worried about getting reelected, that's maybe when they step up at the last minute and say, let's get this fucker out of here. Because to be perfectly honest with you, Jamie Raskin said it. Somebody said about impeaching Donald Trump, and Jamie said, well, get me two Republicans that will do it and we'll get it done.
Yeah,
So you don't need a lot of Republicans to do it. You need a couple people to maybe be the the scapegoats to do it if the Republican Party truly wants to do it. And I think they'll
And
get to a point where they will want to do it because he's doing more damage than helping the party at this point.
and then the Senate is a lost cause. Because Democrats are just they have powers to stop certain things, they won't do it. I know they haven't got any legislation in there, but they keep letting these nominees come through. They can do a hold, they can stop them. They
Yeah.
won't do it. And the thing about it is that even Republicans know that some of these nominees are crap. Bill Lee, who is the other senator from Louisiana,
Utah.
who is a doctor. No, he's a doctor. Bill Lee, he's a doctor in Louisiana. He's the second senator to the other John Kennedy, that hick-sounding idiot.
Okay. Okay.
Um, he was the head of the Health and Human Services Committee that did the hearings for RFK, and he had reservations. He still voted for him.
Yeah.
Why? Because he said that JFK said, I'm sorry, that RFK said that he was going to keep vaccines. Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah.
So he went along because he fears Trump more than anything else. That's all it is. They know these. Pete Haskett went on his rant at the Munich summit with a highball glass that we all knew was, oh my God, when he told everyone he wasn't going to drink. And one of the senators who voted for him said, oh, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look like a Secretary of Defense. Really, motherfucker? We told you. It's all become now, we told you. We
Well,
fucking told you.
everything that happened in Munich, whether it be JD Vance or Pete Hegseth, was an absolute embarrassment. These guys go in there like bullies and they're talking down to these Europeans, and they weren't having any of it. And now the Europeans are talking about, listen, we can't trust America anymore, so we're going to just do this and this. Donald Trump and Elon Musk wants this country isolated, and they're
Mhm.
going to think twice about fucking sending us shit. You're going to have a visa to go to Mexico. They're saying, fuck you. We'll just cut you off completely. You may be the biggest, strongest country in America, but without us, you're fucked. And we're going to find that out.
Yeah, President Macron of France has called an emergency meeting of the EU to
Right.
discuss this. And the thing about it, they're not discussing America, they're discussing the threat of Trump. So the EU and most of the world understands the distinction between the American people and Trump. The
Right.
problem is Trump has the power, but the one thing is that some people are saying, "Well, don't. It's not the American people. It's Trump." I remember what Sherman once said when he did the March to the Sea after he burned the land and going through it. He was just decimating the South, and someone asked him why he was doing that. He goes, "They brought it on themselves. They brought
Yeah.
this up. They voted for it. I mean, they wanted this, so they pay the price." So to an extent, part of Europe is going. Even our neighbors are going. You voted for it. That's you suffer because the rest of us aren't going to suffer for your bullshit. And that's a
Well,
fact. And it may come down to us, the majority, because it's just they don't need it, and they don't need us. See, that's the problem. Vance, Trump, all these guys live in a different world. They think Europe and the world needs us.
well,
The lasting
in
legacy
realistic
of Joe Biden will be NATO.
in
Okay,
realistic terms, they do need us, but they can live without us. And if they have to live without us to stay safe, they will do that. I mean, we've got Europeans, countries getting together, talking. America's
right.
not involved. They're talking
Mhm.
about what do we need to do with Ukraine? What do we need to do with trade and all this sort of stuff? And they're about ready to throw their hands up and say, we don't want anything to fucking do with you. And
Yeah.
in terms of the people who don't support Donald Trump, I'm sorry, you get what you voted for. You get what you asked for. And people
Mhm.
will say, well, I didn't vote for Trump. No, you didn't. But a lot of people didn't vote for anybody. And this
Didn't
is
vote
why
for
we are
anyone.
where we are. These are the kind of mistakes we cannot fucking make anymore.
Yep.
And we
And
made a mistake. We fucked up, and there's
yeah.
accountability for it.
And then there's a lot of those same far lefters are going, "Where's Kamala Harris? Not word for her. Why isn't she saying anything?
You sent her
She's not
away.
in office. She's not in office. She has no power. What's she going to
No.
do? You guys have, if you cared about what she could do, You should have got off your fucking asses and voted for her. But no, you wanted to make a point. I'm still trying to wait for your point because I hear
Yeah.
these people all the time. What's your point? I'm waiting. Don't talk about Palestine because you know that's a shit show now. We know what's going to happen there.
I don't
And
even
don't talk
care what
about,
happens in I don't even care what happens to
yeah,
Palestine. I'll be honest with you, I don't. And I should. I
yeah,
know there's innocent people, but it's not like we didn't fucking try. And if I tried for 4 years to try to straighten people out about Donald Trump and that wasn't enough, I can't worry about that shit. I got my own fucking backyard.
yeah. And that's where we're at right now. There are days where you just look at them going, what the fuck? I mean, there's days where you just go, wow, that's helpless. Because it's like no one is stepping up that should do something to do anything. They're just going with the flow. Why they're
Well,
going
they
with
don't
the flow, I don't get it.
and they
They
don't have to
know
step
something.
up. They don't have to step up and they don't have to be the hero and save everything. Just fucking speak out. I mean, there are
Yeah,
some like Jamie Raskin, maybe Eric Swalwell to an extent, but there's how many fucking Democratic members of the House that aren't saying fucking anything because they're impotent fucking pieces of shit. And this is why I'm saying when this is all said and done, we should look back on our Congress and go, these fuckers have no power. They have no teeth. So why are they there? We need to get people in there that understand the job and will do the fucking job for us because these fucks won't.
yeah. I mean, it's got to be congressmen for a long time took their job seriously. I'm not
There
saying
was
there
a
were a
time.
bunch of there were some a-holes and there were people who were corrupt. I mean, that comes with any political system. But a lot of them understood that how government works and what their purpose is to serve the people.
Right.
Now, what's going on now is that it got twisted into this cult of personality where they're not serving the people, they're serving Trump.
Right.
And the elected has said they told people, don't worry, I'll make sure Trump gets what he wants. And the voters who did that, that's what they wanted, to be honest. They
Right.
thought Trump would, for through them, Trump will bring it, groceries prices down, gas prices down. He'll get me married. He'll make sure my toilet flushes. Um, I mean, and I know everyone's saying you sounded ridiculous. Am I? Am I? Because he promised a whole bunch of shit, didn't he?
He
And he
did.
didn't. And it's all a fucking con. And you guys just sit there and just eat it. Today, that whole Daytona thing, all the MAGA fucks are just sitting there going, "Yay!" But you don't give a shit about about the world because what he did means shit.
Did
That's
Donald
not
Trump
American.
did Donald
But
Trump ever get out of the car when he was in Daytona?
I don't know. They just ran it around the the track. I didn't.
Have
I
you
mean,
noticed
I
have you noticed
you
Donald Trump is never out of the White House? And when he is, he's in a car or a plane. That fucker ain't doing rallies now. I bet he's got all kinds of threats against him.
oh, I mean, whew. I mean, we knew it would be bad, but God, Jesus, I didn't know it was gonna be like this. I thought there would be a little bit of pushback. I didn't know he was just basically, whatever you say, sir, that's good, sir, whatever, sir. It's just sad at this
You
point.
know, of all the things I've talked about from prior to the election to Kamala and the election to
Mm.
what's going on now, all the times I've been wrong, and I'm happy to say when I'm wrong. It's no big deal to me. It's no shame in being wrong. But every time I've been wrong, it's because I gave the people of this country or the members of Congress too much credit. And
Mm-hmm.
that's my fault. I gave them too much credit
Same
for
here.
being smarter than I thought they were. And it turns out they aren't smarter. They're dumber and they're weaker and they're powerless. And it's frustrating. I'm not going to give anybody the benefit of the doubt anymore because they've all fucking failed us.
Yeah, and it's going to come down. That's what I keep telling myself. There's no way people in the intelligence, military apparatus, FBI apparatus are going to sit there and go, oh, okay. It just doesn't make sense. These guys are dedicated public servants to the
Yeah.
Constitution. And I just find it hard to believe. I was watching, you know, you see TV shows about, you know, the military or military intelligence or investigators and all that, the dedication, it's fiction. But I have to believe that that competency doesn't come out of the blue. They do their job. Now
Yeah.
you got a bunch of incompetent people whose only goal is to protect one man at the expense of the rest of us. Are you guys going to do anything, or are you just going to go away and get
Yeah.
him and let him take over? And I don't know, because it may come down to us just standing in front of buildings, starting there, then the push, yelling and screaming when people don't get money. Because I don't believe that we're going to capitulate. If they do, they'll have to really eliminate a shitload of us to do that.
In the month or
You
so that they've been in office, the new Congress, they haven't really done much. They haven't done any bills. However, there was a bill introduced today. Today is Sunday. Uh, you'll be listening to this later, but this is Sunday. There was a bill introduced by a woman, a representative named Claudia Tenney. Don't know who the fuck she is, but she introduced a bill to make June 14th, Donald Trump's birthday, a federal motherfucking holiday. Interesting thing about that is June 14th is already Flag Day, but they want to make it Donald Trump's birthday a federal holiday. And I just laughed at myself. I said, how is that going to bring down the cost of eggs or energy or whatever? And since hopefully we still have some compromise and negotiation in Congress, I would say no to the federal holiday for his birthday. However, I will give you this one. The day that Donald Trump chokes on a Big Mac, keels over on the Oval Office floor, and cacks out right there, I'll make that a federal fucking holiday because they'll be dancing in the motherfucking streets.
I believe, and I might be wrong, and people later in the comments tell me, because when you said June 14th, isn't that Juneteenth? Do you know what Juneteenth
Uh,
is? That's
oh, yeah, I know
the
what you
day
do.
that, yeah, isn't that Juneteenth?
Let me check. Wouldn't that be ironic?
No, it would be tracks it par for the coast, of course.
Now, Juneteenth is Thursday the 19th.
Okay,
The,
well,
fo- the
that's
14th is Flag
good.
Day.
Oh, that's good. That's we're not in a cult. Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's
Go
silly.
ahead. I'm sorry.
It's just
It's
fucking silly. It's unserious.
but she'll get on Fox News. They'll pat her on the back. They'll give her 15 minutes of right wing fame, so she'll be happy with that. Meanwhile, did you hear what happened in San Francisco a couple days ago? San
Probably,
Francisco
but
at City Hall, three MAGA fucks showed up with T-shirts that say Doge and MAGA hats and
yeah.
demanded to be allowed into the City Hall as per Elon Musk to look for corruption. Yeah,
In a city
demanded it
hall. They have no
in the City
authority
Hall.
in a city hall.
And the San Francisco City Hall employer said, no, get the fuck out. And we're calling the cops. And before SFPD could shut up, they ran off. Now they're trying to find these guys. This
Yeah.
is how this is how deep the psychosis these guys have.
Yeah.
We always get the comments, you have Trump derangement syndrome. No, I don't have Trump derangement system. I'm trying to point out what he is. That is Trump derangement syndrome.
Absolutely.
You think that by wearing that hat, Trump, you're authorized by Trump to do what he wants or do it any way you want, and Trump will cover your back. Um, that's not even beyond weird. It's just you can't tell me that this is a political thing. It's not anymore. We
No,
see
it's
it.
not political.
There's
It's not.
there's a video. You remember he has that he directed the DOJ to eliminate persecution of Christians, whatever the fuck that was, Christianity. There's a video of advisors to the president or whatever in an office outside the Oval Office, They were all evangelicals doing that singing, dancing thing they do. And I saw that and I said, what the fuck? It wasn't even a prayer. I've been in those services. It made all my hair stand up on my neck. These people should be nowhere near the center of power. Nowhere near. No. That's why you have a separation of church and state, so you don't have shit like this. Evangelicals are now sitting in the White House outside the Oval Office, directing him for their needs, and they're all not Christian beliefs. Sorry, truth.
Oh, I feel bad thinking this, but this is just my normal guy thought process. We're watching what's going on. We're seeing nobody doing anything about it. And I've said before that I was concerned if Donald Trump got in, there would be violence. There might be a civil war. I'm almost
Mhm.
feeling like right at this point, because no one else is willing to do anything, violence may be the only way. And I'm not advocating violence. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think we should be doing it. But people right now, lives are being destroyed. People are terrified. And when that happens, people slash out. They lash
Right,
out. And, we talked about the pitchforks and the torches. And, and you don't mean that in real terms, but in specific terms, people will hit the streets and people will push
right.
back. And we've got to be on the verge of something like that right now when people feel like they have no protection and they just got to
Yep.
fucking do something.
And and again, the federal employees that have been laid off, I mean, people again believe that a federal employee does not do anything. That's not true. But these people who have a job with the federal government, a lot of them had it for years. That's their living. Now you have people doing out that are unemployed. And there was an article, I think it was in the Times, probably the Times, saying the cost of these people. These people are going, I lost my job, I lost my health care. And you know how they mostly fire these people? Through a fucking email.
Like a two
They don't
line
have to
email.
follow two-line email because you don't matter to them. And they know that the majority of weird, stupid Americans were going, they're just federal employees. They don't matter. They matter.
Right.
And wait till the jobs reports come out in March. Motherfucker, the unemployment rate's gonna spike like crazy because
Right.
all the contracts they dropped, all of the projects they've halted, there are people not employed. The unemployment's going to rise if they don't get rid of that, and it's going to be insane. And the point is, you take everything away from people, then and it's on because it's not going to be like the depression where people said, no, people are going to stand up and they're going to get pissed. And I don't believe what one of these guys was saying in our live yesterday. We're all going to capitulate once we're starving. No, a starving person gets pissed and goes looking
Yeah.
for a way to get back, and they know whose fault it is. You can't scapegoat anyone for this, guys. You can't scapegoat immigrants. You can't scapegoat Democrats. You can't scapegoat Joe Biden or Obama. There's only one person who did this, and you know who it is. And MAGA, what you going to do when you have
Donald
nothing?
Donald motherfucking Trump is to blame for everything from here until the time he leaves office. He is to blame. Well, I find this kind of interesting. Prior to
Mhm.
right after the election, uh, on some things you seem fatalistic and uncertain about some things, which is natural given all that's gone on.
Right,
But when it comes down to the people stepping up and pushing back, you seem more confident about that. I seem confident about that. People didn't capitulate when the Vietnam War needed to be shut down.
right.
They didn't capitulate anytime there's been some serious problems. They didn't capitulate when George Floyd got killed. That's just not the nature of this country. But you feel pretty positive that there's going to be a point where people go, fuck it, we're stopping this shit.
I believe that because again, the parallels to Nazi Germany are there, but there are also other things that we are not. We are not coming off a totalitarian government.
Right.
We're not with a fledgling democracy. That's how Stalin took over the Russian Revolution. That's how the French Revolution died too. Back into, if we know afterwards, you got Napoleon. After that, we're not going to go there, and it just, I don't. I know we trusted the American people to know the difference between doing the right thing and doing the easy thing. Donald Trump to them was the easy thing. They bought his lies. Also,
Right.
they bought into getting rid of all the brown people, but they're starting to find out that's kind of hard to do. A lot of people are fighting back there, and you kind of need them, and so they're finding that out as an FAFO. Also, they're running out of money, and I just don't see the American people just going, "Fuck it, okay, I got nothing. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I'm good with it. I just will starve to death, and because the president said it's good, or yeah, I can't do anything about it, so I'll just die." I mean, I just
Yeah.
don't find that. I find that inherently hard for me to buy. Now there are people, because like I said in a video about RFK, because all that shit I got about RFK, because I mentioned that you guys basically all my video was said, they approved him and he used the words from Hammer, and you guys are out of your goddamn mind. That's all I said.
Yeah.
And man, these guys all of a sudden became my doctor. Okay, well, you're unhealthy. He's just going to make you, he's just going to fix people like you. Oh, yeah, when did you get your last welfare check? Oh, I love those. And snap. And it pisses me off because they don't get it. Okay. And I'll say this, and it's in the video, and hopefully everyone hears me. It's not, RFK is a nut. We know that. Heroin addict, is a conspiracy theorist, anti-vaxxer, has some weird ideas about depression, as we talked about last night. But the thing about it is, and he's going to regulate us into health. The one thing that JD Farmer was objecting to Richard Green's video was that, and I heard it, he's going to take on big pharma and take on pharma and take on Trump. No, he's not. He's a
Right.
sellout. We knew he was a sellout. Richard, take away your latte liberal bullshit and listen to me, okay? I do. The only person that told me, that tells me how to live my life and what I should do for me, and I will listen, was my mom, who's passed, and my wife, because I know if I don't follow that, she's going to kill me.
Right.
Okay. But the point being is she cares about me, and she goes, look, you know, you got to take care of this, you got to take care of that, stay on top of it, because I don't want to deal with you like the rest of your family members had to be dealt with. Those are the only two people I listen to. Robert F. Kennedy is not one of them.
You
Okay.
know, Richard Green. Richard Green. I know him. He's a nice enough guy. I've talked to him a number of times. I do disagree with a lot of things he says. He tends to come at things. Well, I'm a lawyer. I know a lot of lawyers. Most lawyers I don't fucking like. Um, Not all lawyers. I have some friends that are lawyers, but most lawyers I've experienced have always not always told the truth. Here's the thing. If you're telling me that RFK Jr., part of Donald Trump's cabinet, is going to go in there and finally press big pharma and do all the other things, then you must believe that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are truly searching for fucking waste in government. They're not
Exactly.
searching for waste in government. They're robbing the government. And to suggest that RFK is going to do something positive as head of health and human services, that's just being fucking oblivious. Here's the problem. We've got incompetence by the fucking boatload in Washington, D.C., whether it be Tulsi Gabbard, whether it be Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Pete Hegseth. Right now, when they stand up in front of international audiences, they are embarrassing themselves. J.D. Vance embarrassed himself, embarrassed this country. And this is the
Right.
big problem. They're doing all the destructive stuff, but they're also making us look like fucking fools because they don't know what they're doing. And
But
RFK Jr., I don't give a fuck what he says. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's never run an
no,
organization like this.
no, I mean, He's already hates the CDC. I mean, the
Yeah.
CDC, again, this goes back to the pandemic. And this is a pet peeve for Trump because he still feels the CDC embarrassed him because he was the smartest man in the room, not the scientist in Atlanta. And, and the thing I'm saying is that, and going back to what you were asking, do I think people will fight and not capitulate? All my life, I've seen it. Americans don't like to be told what to do or not to do. They
No.
really don't dig that at all. So you're going to tell Americans they can't have this, they can't have that. I mean, they're going to do a 60% tax on alcohol. Good luck with that. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. You're going to tell Americans they can't do something. Americans don't run like that. They had a whole fucking. The reason we have organized crime because you banned fucking alcohol, and Americans figured out a way to get it criminally. I mean, that's who we are. And so you, the first push when people found out they may not get their checks, everything they ran away from the freeze. If they actually do it, especially veterans benefits, I just find it there people are not going to go. Okay, I just don't see that. We're not built like that. They won't. There are some that built like that. Those are the ones who are hardcore MAGA that want to be told everything in their lives to do. And that's the other thing, Mike. You and I have lived long enough to understand no matter your circumstance, and there are circumstances that things some people can get out of. But if you're not slothful, if you keep working to step forward, even if you hit a ceiling, at least you're at a certain point. There's nothing wrong if the highest point you can do in your life and you're happy with it as a manager of a Burger King. There's nothing
Oh,
wrong with that. That's a work. And you keep doing the one thing we always taught, whatever job you do the best you can. I don't care if you're cleaning floors, whatever. Do the best you can because that usually leads to other things. People are happy with you if you do the best you can, and I live my life with that. And I never had anyone tell me you can't do that because.
yeah.
Well, and so the problem with a lot of these MAGA people who are miserable is that they give up and they don't see other ways to get out of it. So they get hateful and hate everyone and hate immigrants and hate people who have more than they, and it's their fault that their life is like this. I'm going to give you MAGAs a kind of a slogan for you. Life is not a they problem. Life is a you problem.
Yeah.
You have to make your life the best you can. You have to figure out the best you can do. If you hit a wall, great. Try to get around the wall, dig under the wall. I'm not saying it's easy because that's what we pay our taxes to help you support you when it gets bad.
Right.
So once you guys realize it's a you problem and stop blaming they, you're going to look at the world in a different way and probably even get a better life out of it.
One of the
So,
things I learned about being 64, soon to be 65 years old, you're a young man and you want to be rich and famous and have all the toys and such. I know some people like that. I did all right when I was working and all that stuff. But at 64, almost 65 years old, I'm not rich, but I'm content. I have no
mhm.
stress. The goal shouldn't be having a lot of money and being successful and impressing other people because fuck other people. The goal should, and I told my sons this, don't chase after $1 billion. Be happy, be content, be as stress free as you can. Take the time to enjoy life because people work their ass off for 70 years to prove to everybody that they're successful. And then they got no time to do anything else.
Right.
Enjoy life. When I turned 60 years old and I was kind of forced into retiring, and my wife did retire around 60, I said, fuck it. If I'm lucky, I'll live another 20 years. And the next 20 years, I'm going to fucking have fun. I'm going to do what I want to do the way I want to do it. And ain't nobody going to tell me shit. And I got to tell you what, even though I don't have $10 million like Joe Rogan or whatever the fuck, I don't care. I'm
Yep.
comfortable. I'm happy. I'm content. I do what I want to do. If I buy a car, I'm probably going to buy a Honda, not a Lamborghini, but I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Be content, be happy, be stress free. Don't worry about gaining all this fortune and fame.
Yeah. And it's not even that. It's just like find a point where you're kind of comfortable with. I mean, there's one TV show that everyone watched called Justified, and I started watching it because I hadn't seen it because I like
Yeah.
the actor because he comes from Deadwood. But as
Timothy
I started
Oliphant.
watching, I stopped because it was miserable. All the people he dealt with were just miserable. And the one threat they had for most of those people who were running drugs, hey, I'll just pull your disability checks and you're screwed. And
Right.
that scared him. And it got to the point of going, this is miserable. These people are miserable. They're looking for ways to be unmiserable. What they do is they cause more misery to other people. And that's the thing. Look at your life. Why is it miserable? What are you doing? And can you get better without making everyone else miserable? Because the problem with MAGA is they want everyone to be miserable like them. I'm going to
That's
fuck
pretty much
everyone
true.
else over so they can be at the same level as I am. The point is, you're at a certain level and they're going to make you go lower and you're going to understand things you have not found out earlier.
I think you're right
When
about
you're
that. I think that instead of lifting people up, they want to drag people down to their level so they can commiserate and suffer together. If I got to suffer, you got to suffer. That's the wrong fucking attitude. The right attitude is to try to lift as many people up as we
right,
can to live comfortable lives. But the Republicans and
right.
the Trumplafucks, they don't see it that way, and that's the problem. They have the wrong vision in front of them.
Yeah, they consider leadership. They, I use this as a good example with people. It's like, what I'm a Dodger fan, as like everyone knows, for years. Um, Dave Roberts has been the Dodgers manager for 8 years. He has 101 wins average, four pennants, two World Series. I mean, he's a real successful manager. And each year, people want to get him fired. And part of it because he's black, and you don't like that. That's true. The other part
Yeah.
is he does not manage like people think he should manage, like screaming at players or getting in people's faces and yelling at umpires. He doesn't do it. He's a guy who will sit in, and I've seen it. He'll sit in a with a bullpen or sit in the dugout with a player and sit there and talk to him, and they'll make him, and the player's going like this. He is someone who goes and lifts you guys up. Why do the Dodgers have all these people wanting to play for them? Because they do this. They
Yeah.
do this. I mean, this is a good because people talk about, oh, because they pay everyone. No, it's not true. Because the bullpen from last year was because the Dodgers won the World Series with 40 different pitchers because the pitchers, most of their pitching staff got hurt. They used 40 different pitchers in the World Series and in the playoffs. They had bullpen games. You don't do that. You don't pull your bullpen out during playoffs. But each of the bullpen, most of them are rejects.
Yeah.
Blake Trinan was a reject from Oakland. He came to the Dodgers, became a great pitcher. Same for Alex Vesia. These guys go into the Dodger organization, and instead of saying, "What can you do for me?" What can we do for you to be better? Show us you can be better.
Right.
And that's what the problem is with leadership now in America is that people think in order to be a leader, you got to step on people's faces. You have to keep them down. They're your competition. You kill the competition. No, you get into a leadership position because you're showing you're going to let people lead people to be better, and
Right.
they go out and be better, and so they recognize you as a leader, and then those people do everything for you. Someone made a good comment. It might be a fictional thing, but have you ever seen the movie, the show, The Blacklist? James
Yeah.
Spader's show. Raymond Reddington is a criminal. He's heinous. But the one thing why people run to his aid or back him up, because if you take care of him, he takes care of you. He always takes care of the people that are loyal. So anytime he gets into a spat, they come running to him because they know he's worth it because he's helped them out. He's lifted them up.
Right.
I mean, it might be a bad example from a criminal sense, but that's the way a good leader does it. So MAGA and Trump-a-fucks think that Trump is powerful because he can tell a lady reporter you're dumb.
Right.
That's not leadership. That's being an asshole. And if he's a leader, why was he sitting there having a 4-year-old kid telling him you shouldn't be here?
Yeah.
That's not a leader. That's a fucking coward. And by the way, if I'm president of the United States, kid, don't wipe your fucking boogers on my desk. What the fuck is wrong with you? It was, that tells you everything. He's not a leader. He's not.
Well, I
He's
think
just there to take up
I
space.
think Donald Trump felt like this kid was superior to him because Donald Trump had more shit in his pants than a 4-year-old kid does. He's the whole thing is just fucking embarrassing. And Donald
Yeah,
Trump is
but
passive when it comes to Elon Musk. We don't know why, but he is. They can call him out for this shit, and he doesn't say a word. He's a pussy ass bitch. I wanted to bring something else up because I think
yeah,
this
sure.
is important. When Donald Trump was running for re-election, he told us he would stop the Russia-Ukraine war within 24 hours, and that was after he was elected, not even when he was inaugurated. Well, we're a few months after he was elected, and almost a full month from after he was inaugurated. As far as I know, that war is still going on. That said, Donald Trump wants to negotiate some peace plan. And he's doing that, but he's only talking to Vladimir Putin. He's not talking to Zelensky. He's not talking to any other European leaders, although he seems to be bending to that. He's bending to the pressure there, and he's talking about bringing in European leaders. But what people have to understand is Ukraine is an American ally, a USA ally. Russia is not our ally. They're an adversarial nation. They are essentially our enemy. And if you want to fucking debate that, just note that America, just a month or two ago, put sanctions on Russia for meddling in our 2024 election. If that isn't an enemy of this country, I don't know what is. And what you have to understand is that Donald Trump is consorting with and giving comfort and aid to Russia in this whole process. And that makes Donald Trump an enemy of the state. And anybody that supports Donald Trump, an enemy of the state. And this is why I say we're in a fucking war. We're in a war right
Mhm.
now, and we've got to get out and fight. Um, Interesting thing about Zelensky said, listen, you guys can talk all you want, but if I'm not at the table, no fucking deal.
Right.
Russia wants out of this as bad as anybody because they're getting their ass kicked and they're losing tens of thousands of people and billions of dollars. They want out too. Vladimir Putin's just looking for a way out to save face, and he's going to want to take a piece of Ukraine. And Donald Trump thought he could work this out quickly by going to Zelensky saying, give him what he wants and shut the fuck up because we're America. And Zelensky says, suck my dick.
No, no. And he said that no peace will be if there's Russians on Ukrainian territory, and he's including Crimea. No, there will be no peace. And what Vladimir Putin is finding out right now is that his asset is not really working well for him
No,
because he was hoping that if America pulls out of NATO, or it's basically kind of de facto doing it with Hesketh and Vance's performance overseas, that NATO is going to collapse. I said it last night, and I'll say it again. One of the lasting things that Biden left was NATO that could stand on its own. NATO is pulling together. Why are they having that meeting? Macron calls for a meeting for the European leaders because they know that they're going to probably have to support Ukraine. And guess what? They can support Ukraine. They have weapons. They have
yeah,
advanced weapons. The
and money.
Finns do, the Swedish do, the Germans do. And the point is, you know why they'll do it? Honestly, not because they really want to support Ukraine, just to tell Donald Trump, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
Because we're going to protect ourselves against Russia. Going back to you said, yeah, Russia, NATO was developed to stop Russia, Soviet Russia. Putin brought back Soviet Russia, but like a czar to an extent. So he's the enemy. And I don't care what you people say, he is the enemy of Europe. And they know, the Polish know, they don't want him on their border. They know
No,
this. They don't want him on his border. And they know he's got, and Belarus doesn't want him, or Lithuania. They don't want this shit again. They got away from it. And so if Putin's finding out right now, if he does it, if he doesn't capitulate, or if he thinks that NATO's going to capitulate, he's got another things coming. Because they'll say, well, America's not with you. We know that. But it doesn't mean
right.
stop says that we're not going to stop you. And he's finding that out really quickly, that when you have an idiot, a useful idiot, make sure they're not really a true idiot working for you. Because
Yeah.
he's an idiot. And everything he's doing is not working. Sitting down with Putin is not going to accomplish anything. Because Zelensky knows there's already been commitments before Biden left office. He got commitments from Europe to give them weapons.
Right.
There's commitments. There's no way, and he can't win this war short of nuking Kiev. He can't win this war because he has no military left. He burned what he's got, and the only reason he keeps going is because he does have advanced missiles. He can't even the air power. He can't even put an aircraft in the air because they go down. He
Right.
knows this. He's screwed.
Right.
And he's looking
Yeah.
for a way out. And he's hoping that his useful idiot will get him out.
Well, the problem is like I've said before with Donald Trump, you can put him in charge of anything, but he'll always fuck it up. It goes back to arrogance and incompetence. He's so arrogant that he thinks he knows what he's doing. He fucks up, and then he tries to blame it on somebody else. I was just looking at something that came across the news as we're sitting here. It says that Elon Musk seeks to access IRS taxpayer data. Why would you need taxpayer data to find waste? And what does that mean to the IRS? What does that mean to us? Should he be able to access that bullshit?
Why? Okay.
I don't get it.
I mean, it's wow. Big Brother is looking for you. Um,
Yeah.
I don't even know. There's no reason for that.
No.
I mean, that taxpayer, that's my data, the IRS, and they, in order to deal with me and taxes. But and it's going to be. By the way, if you're going to get a refund this year, you're going to take you months to get it. I think
If
they
you get
already
it.
fired 350 IRS agents and looking to hire IRS personnel, looking to
Right.
fire more. I mean, it's a ghost town. The efficiency is going to go down. People are going to go. I mean, they were already rid of the free tax, free e-file because it's going to help people. This is
Yeah.
just a man drunk on power. Elon Musk, he wants to put all his fingers in there because he controls your data. If he controls your data, he figures he controls you because then he can manipulate you to do what he wants. And everyone's going, there is no waste. This is just an excuse, and you dumb motherfuckers are buying it. Congress is buying it. It's just sad. And the other thing too is now they're saying that some people don't deserve their um, salaries as Congress people, and they went after Jasmine Crockett, and they said that she has, her salary is this, but she owns so much property. She put out her Jasmine Crockett put out her financial statement and go, I own one home, I get paid $174,000, I have savings, and I'm a lawyer. And you go, this is just character assassination. He is just putting shit out there to fuck with people because Elon Musk literally thinks he runs this country now. Let's be honest.
There's a
Trump,
there's
wait a
a
minute.
there's a
Trump,
there's a
oh, I'm sorry.
Republican in Minnesota that tried to put forth a bill to deport Ilhan Omar. It's not going to go anywhere. It's fucking absolutely stupid. And then you've got AOC and Tom Horman going at it, the border czar, and he's saying,
Right.
well, if she does something to hide people or help people, then she's in trouble. And AOC basically said, fuck yourself, dumbass. And then, of course, he had
Yeah.
to say something back. Have you ever watched Tom Horman on TV? This
Yeah,
guy
he
is the epitome of a fucking dolt.
yes. And like I said, I described him as the only thing missing from him is the sunglasses, a cap, and an old Southern sheriff outfit.
Yeah.
He
He's a
sounds
fucking cartoon
exactly,
character.
yeah, he sounds exactly like that, the Birmingham sheriff during the civil rights movement. He's no different. Like everything that comes out of his mouth is the same thing, just no more of a Southern accent. Come on.
I was thinking more like Deputy Dog. That's what he fucking reminds me of, this big, droopy, dumb
Deputy
looking
Dog actually,
motherfucker that you can't understand.
Deputy Dog actually has a few more brain cells than him. But he's all, they believe that once America becomes truly white again, everything will be okay. It ain't going to be okay. And people aren't, I mean, it's sad to watch these people live in their bubble. They're religious, evangelical, Christian, nationalist, white supremacist bubbles. Because most of America isn't like that. And if you want a good way of seeing how America really looks like, the halftime show Kendrick Lamar still is resonating across everyone. Okay,
Right.
because honestly, that was a really a nice political jab at Trump. Many
Yeah,
parts of it were. Um,
absolutely.
and the people who hate it are the far right and the racists. But if you watch the reactions to it on TikTok, don't be the amount of mixed race people, white people, Asian people that are so hyped by that tells you they have no connection what America really is.
No.
They think that America is the Midwest, but even the Midwest has a mixed
Yeah,
population. I mean,
absolutely.
people, Americans are a melting pot, but they don't want, they hate it. They hate this pot that we're all in because they feel they're not on top of everything anymore. Guess what, guys? You're not. You are temporary right now. Let's
Well,
all put this together. Go ahead.
they are temporary, but the idea of making America white again. Good luck with that. It's too fucking late. It's no matter
Yeah.
what you do, you can't make America white again. You're not going. Eventually, it's going to happen that the white race is the minority, and people always say, "Aren't you worried about that?" I go, "No. Why would I be
Why?
worried about that? Why would I
Well,
be worried about that?" And then I realized why some people worry about it, because they marginalized and they treated people of color badly. Well, I
mhm.
didn't. I don't, and I'm not worried. I'm happy if I'm in a minority and a majority. When I'm walking down the street, I don't think to myself, I'm in the fucking
No.
majority, so I'm powerful. I don't fucking care.
Some trouble folks are doing that now. There are videos of them approaching, Hispanic people and questioning their citizenship. We talked about that Doge people. They're actually assholes dressing up cops trying to arrest immigrants as
Yeah.
fake cops. But they think they're doing it and they think Trump's going to save them. But a lot of these guys are finding out, you know, they're going to pay a price. One thing that does worry me when you have the Nazis in Ohio that neighborhood chased out off that bridge,
Yeah.
people are finding out that the local police helped them set up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we know this, and the point is like we still outnumber them. The point is the thing about it is that American culture is not white European culture um, exclusively. Hell, you don't even know what white European culture is, guys. If you were dropped into France as a white person, you would freaking drown. Same thing in Spain. Same thing in England. Drop you in Leeds to see how long you try to figure out the culture there. They all look at the world differently. And
Fuck, if they put you in Montreal, you'd have problems.
oh yeah, exactly. Or even Canada. Canada has a different vibe to it. And we have and the thing about the United States, there's a different vibe to everywhere you live, be it Atlanta, be it in Florida, be it in California. That's the beauty of being in America is that we have this. We have this, but recently it's been demonized by a few people who want their idea of what America should be the forefront of everything. That's why right now they're not celebrating Black History Month because everyone should be what? Not questioning or just celebrating other parts of the culture. I mean, this DEI thing again is the new Jim Crow. Gives them an excuse to say, you know, they only have that because they're trying to make white people feel bad. Why do you need to feel bad? Why do you feel
That's
bad if we talk about blacks and Hispanics or people in history that are women or Jewish that have helped America? Why does that make you feel bad? What's
well,
your problem?
that's my question. We talk about brown people, we talk about white people. You're Hispanic, from Puerto
Mhm.
Rico. I am the epitome of what the Republicans love. I'm white. I'm single. I'm married. I have kids. I have grandkids. My heritage comes from Europe, actually Scandinavia. I'm the
Yeah,
epitome of what they like. But if I'm in a situation where I see ICE people or something, or somebody calling out a person of color, you're going to see the loudest, most obnoxious liberal motherfucker you ever saw. Somebody who looks just like you, and I'm going to talk your shit down because it doesn't matter whether the person is of color or not of color. Injustice is fucking injustice, and I don't fucking
exactly.
like it.
And that's what we're doing right now. This is what you guys voted for, and the rest of it is coming to roost. So we always, when we have a discussion, we talked about all the stuff that's happening. We made clear that it's wrong. Um, and then people always come back with the question, well, what do we do? What we're going to do? What you're going to do is not capitulate. What you're going to do is still speak out. What you're going to do is not sit there and go, it doesn't affect me because it will
Right.
affect you eventually. What we're going to do is not give in and give up. Because right now it looks tough because the institution that's supposed to protect us from people like Elon Musk have gone hiding. So as spring comes along and things get a little worse, and after that, I want to see what happens with the March vote on the budget. Things are starting to get really weird. I think Americans will start going. The majority of us start going. Okay, I guess we have to do this shit and figure it out from there. Maybe Congress will wake up once they get enough pressure. Maybe Republicans will find they're harder 3 times, 3 times more bigger than they were originally, like the
Yeah.
Grinch, and figure it out. But the thing we can't do, everyone, is capitulate.
Yeah.
Still, like Michael Steele say, get mad, or I mean, get mad and just say, hey, this is wrong. Call your congressman, write your congressman. Hell, if you think that not doing a TikTok video doesn't mean anything, I thought the same thing. Now I got 3,200 people who want to hear what I say,
Yeah.
pushing for. And it's like, it's because people want to know they're not sitting alone in this forest. Because right now it's a dark forest and there are a lot of spooky things out making noises. And it's
Yeah.
good to know you're not alone at this
Yeah. I
point.
think people like you and I play an important role, because I hear this all the time. People will say, "You're saying exactly what I'm thinking. You're saying what I would want to say." They don't have a platform. They don't feel comfortable. They don't do whatever. Uh, so people, especially people who look like me, to say the things I say
Mhm.
is important, because it lets people know it's not just people of color that are saying, "Oh my God, we're being put upon." Fuck that. This is about justice. This is about what's right. This is about integrity. And I'm, you know, at this stage of the game, there's a lot of people sad and scared. I'm not sad or scared at all. I'm pissed off. And when I
Exactly.
talk to a Trumplefuck now, I might have balanced it a little bit just to be decent. No more. No more. I hate you, motherfuckers. And I'm going to point that out. And I'm going to explain explicitly why you're a dumb fuck. And it's not hard
Right.
to do. Somebody's got to
Yeah.
stand up, slap the taste out of their mouth, and tell them you're a dumb fuck and put them in their place.
And you're finding out that Trump doesn't give a fuck about you. See,
No,
that's the thing. They always thought that Donald Trump was going to take care of them. Going back to what we said before. You take care of yourself. You take care of your family. You make decisions for yourself. Hell, you should take care of yourself and make decisions for yourself, and don't wait for someone else to make a decision for you or to make your life better. They
right?
won't. No one gives a shit about you but yourself, your family, and your loved ones and your friends. And I don't mean that to be cruel, but that's what a lot of these guys do. They're waiting for someone to fix their lives.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you
Doesn't
got to rip
happen.
in your pants. You got to get your a sewing kit out, figure it out, and do a stitch. It might be
Exactly.
ugly, it might be half-assed, but you did the work, and it leads to better stuff. I mean, I don't want to sound like some whacked out, fucked up life coach because I'm going to tell you up front too that life is not going to give you everything you want. Life is not fair. What life is you have to figure out what you want to do, go for it. It'll work out, it won't work out. Someone once told me life is 80%, 20% what happens to you and 80% how you react to it.
Right. I
So are you
agree.
going to, I mean, and understand if something bad happens and you want to curl up in a ball for a little while, cool. Then while you're curling up in the ball, you got to get over it and go, okay, now what do I do? What do I do? And then that's the thing. You have to ask yourself, I mean, the only thing that matters is that you don't give up. And that's to everyone right now. We're in that type of crisis situation that someone wrote in a book once. Two lady Marines who were officers wrote a book, and they said life is kind of like whenever you have a crisis in life, it's like flying an aircraft that has problems. And the first thing you do on that before you diagnose the problem is how do you keep the aircraft in the air?
Right.
How do you keep flying? Once you figure out to keep a base to keep flying, knowing that there's still things bad going on, then you diagnose the problem. Because if you don't keep yourself afloat or in the air while you're diagnosing the problem, it goes down. Because that's what every pilot does. How do we stay in the air? Because that's the first thing. And that's what right now, well, all we have to look at right now, how do we stay in the air? And then we diagnose what we're going to do at that point. So right
From
now,
a
for everyone, well, how do we stay in the air? We stay in the air by making everyone still aware of what's going on, not letting them gaslight us with bullshit, not
I told
thinking
my
that him
kids,
running around.
I
Go
told my
ahead.
kids a long time ago, I said, look, life is tough, fucking deal with it. And what I mean by
Exactly.
that is that, like you say, nobody's going to bail you out. I'm sorry to say that. Maybe mom and dad will. We've bailed our kids out from time to time, and I'm happy
Yeah,
to
that's
do it
family.
anytime I'm in a position to do it, but we won't be here forever. So deal with the problem and don't take all the problems at once. Take it one at a time. Say, okay, here's the
Exactly.
first most important problem. Deal with that, focus on that, deal with that, and then go to the next and then go to the next. But it's never going to be easy. But like you say, it
Yeah.
has more to do with how you react to the shit. If you
Yeah.
panic, if you curl up in a ball, it's going to be much harder. I have this problem with my wife all the time. She's one that's more prone to panic about things, and I'm just go, okay. When something happens, the first thing I do, I think of baseball. When a guy
Right.
hits a ball, hardest thing in the world to do. And what do most of them say? They say, I see it and it kind of slows down. Everything kind of slows down.
Right.
And that's what you got to do when you have a problem. Slow it down. Slow
Hmm.
yourself down so you can think and react properly. Do the first thing and then do the next thing. And too many people just want to panic. And that's one of the problems with doing what I do or doing what you do. People come to the page and they panic and they're fatalistic about it, and
Right.
it makes me angry. Like Richard Green did that a
Mhm.
couple times, and it bothers me. It pisses me off because when I see somebody panic, I see somebody who's of no value to us in the fight. No
Right.
value at all.
I mean, that's the best advice we can have right now. And it's not easy. Fuck, it's not easy. And I mean, even I have those days. My wife is the opposite. I'm the panic one, and she's looking at, okay, you getting pissed off. Did that help? Did that help? And I hate when she does that because I know she's fucking right. No, it didn't
Yeah.
help, honey. Yeah, that's correct. But she also knows I go back and then I go, okay, that's over. Now what? Because that's where you're at. Understand, it's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to get panicky. It's okay to just kind of take a deep breath and stop. But it's not okay to stay in that position. You know, that's how deer get hit in a fucking on a fucking road. Instead of
Yeah.
running, they freeze. So right now, it is absolutely a shit show. Don't worry. Don't worry about us. Just they're going to get so far. Short of setting off a nuclear explosion, they're only going to get so far because they're
It's
going to
true.
hit a wall. And we're not Germany. We're not countries that are capitulating. We're all going to rise up. And if it goes bad, fine. But I'll tell you one thing: it won't be one country bad. I mean, the point is, right now, what you need to do is take a deep breath, make sure everyone's good in your home, take care of yourself and your family. Make sure you're loud in what's going on. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid to speak your mind because what the hell they're going to do to you now. And then when push comes to shove, be ready to shove because they're going to
Right.
get to a precipice that the only way they're going to succeed is if we let them point us over the cliff. What
Right.
we have to do is go, oh no, and push them off the cliff because that's where we're at right now. And there is no political solution. There's no easy way of doing this, guys. We're in for the long fucking haul and fight. And look to yourself, and then the rest will be okay.
My greatest concern right now is not that this, what's going on now, is going to last forever. I know it's
Right.
not. It never lasts forever. Nothing has ever lasted forever. And things usually come out on the other side in sunshine, or at least better than what we have. My greatest fear now is how big a mess are we going to have to clean up? Because there will be a fucking mess when it's all done.
Yeah.
It will be all done at some point, but there's going to be a mess, and that's going to take some time and effort to do.
You rebuild, and we figure out the
That's all
best
you
way
can
to
do.
rebuild. Like I said, we have an opportunity also maybe to change a lot of shit to the better, still strengthening our constitution and our republic. We still have those opportunities. Will it take a while? Will we live to see it? Probably not. But
Yeah.
at least we can say when we shuffle out this mortar coil, we didn't leave this place a shithole because we didn't do anything about it. And
I
if it
kind
is
of
a
liken
shithole, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I kind of liken this whole thing to like the fires in Los Angeles or the
Yep.
hurricane, say Katrina. This was absolutely devastating. This was devastating, and it's going to be a lot hard work to build back New Orleans and Los Angeles and North
Mhm.
Carolina and parts of Georgia. It's going to be a lot of work. It is absolutely devastating. But to think that it won't get built back is fucking crazy. No
It's
matter how
crazy.
devastating it is, it will build back. It may not look like it used to look. Life may not be the same as it used to be, but we'll
Mhm.
find our way out on the other side, and the new normal will be better than the bullshit we're
Yeah.
dealing with now.
And everyone was saying, well, that's kind of optimistic. It's realistic, guys. Again,
Optimistic.
I mean,
I've lived
yeah, but
64 years. This country's been here for 250 years or thereabouts. It's happened
exactly,
every fucking time. We haven't sunk into the fucking ocean yet. It's not optimistic.
exactly.
It's historical. It happens
Yep.
every fucking time.
And yeah, and that's because I that's the thing. I just don't want everyone to go because the one thing that pissed me off in the comments with the live was just people going, well, they were just going to capitulate. It's over. Run. Jump from the cliffs. No. Oh, hell no. Because that's the point. Do you really want to go out like that? Ask yourself, everyone, do you really want to go out like that?
You know what? If I catch
Honestly.
people like that on my page, believe this or not, and give fair warning. If you come out with that fatalistic pussy ass bullshit, I block you like I block fucking Trump LaFucks because you're no good to me.
Yes,
You're no good
because
to us. You're no good to the country. You're no good to us. If you want to give up, go fucking give up. Not in this part of the room.
yeah, and I mean that's where we're at right now, and that's all I can say. And if you come to me with because the with any kind of political thing or this, no, we're going to see what happens. Because trust me, it's going to be. You're talking about the fires in Los Angeles. Now they got mudslides because of the
Yeah.
rain, and so basically, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to go from that to that, and we're still going to have to dig out of it. But I think we will, because I may not have I may have had faith in the American intelligence, but I have faith in the American. I don't want to be told what to do. Fuck you, that we've been bred into for centuries. I'm
Absolutely.
sorry, that's a truth. And if you don't believe
Absolutely.
me, when you take on the greatest superpower in the 18th century and tell them to go fuck themselves and fight them to a standstill to the point they say, fine, keep it. We don't need
Yeah.
you.
Right.
Then you know that something's right. And come up with a whacked out government that's not perfect but has lasted 250 fucking years. Yeah, we're not giving this bitch up without a fight. And if you don't want
Definitely
to get
not.
fight, get out of the way because basically get out of our way and you're collateral damage.
Yeah.
As simple
And
as
I'm not
that.
going to worry
So
about you because we're in a war. Collateral
yeah,
damage happens. It's unfortunate.
yeah.
All right. We're going to wrap things up for the Rational Boomer
Real
podcast.
quick,
Will, thanks for coming by today. Thanks for being on the
no
live
problem.
yesterday. And
Yeah, I want to introduce you to a member of the family real quick. Here, if I can see him
okay.
here. Say hi. Say hi, Bagheera. This is Bagheera. Me, my cat, one of
Yeah.
our cats. Bagheera. He's a
Nice.
black cat. He's a black cat. Say hi. Say hi to the audience. There you go. So now he'll get now all the comments will be about Bagheera. That's what I
Yeah.
wanted to do.
Big Girl saying, fuck you. Get me some food.
He's as old as we are, and he's just looking at me, bitch. I was sleeping, you know. So I'll pay for that later.
Well,
But yeah, Mike.
tell people where they can
Yeah,
find you. I get this question a
yeah,
lot.
yeah. So again, on TikTok, Binder Binder 38 US at TikTok, YouTube, same thing. Binder 38 US at YouTube. Some Substack, Blue Sky, but mostly that in YouTube. YouTube, I've seen a little bit uptick on the views. That's probably going to be the running place when TikTok pulls its plug. What, in March again
Yeah.
permanently?
Allegedly. Yeah. Allegedly. We'll see what
Because
happens.
see what happens.
Donald
But
Trump put
yeah,
JD
that's where you
Vance
can.
in charge, so it's got to be fixed.
Oh God, help us all. But also, if you want to reach out to me, email. I have an email. It's binder38us at outlook.com. If you guys have any questions or comments, send it there. That's cool. But yeah, you can find me there. I'll do my videos. If you are good with someone who needs to take his all off every day to make sure everything's cool, then come find me. And I appreciate y'all.
Just a tip based on my experience with you, you may want to take an extra Zoloft.
No, you don't want to take too many, then you really go into a different state. I was
That
told that
gets,
once.
yeah, I
Oh
suppose. I
Lord.
suppose. For those of you
All right.
listening, thank you for taking the time to do that. I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.